different piles of white in my palette. Wipe off the extra. And then try to start by adding the tiniest bit of black into this much white. Like just get the palette knife barely wet with black, because you're gonna see just how much stronger black is than the white pigment. It really just darkens it so much, even by using just that tiny bit. So I'm gonna save this before I paint it. Maybe add like a little test right there to see if I want to keep that. Or do I want to try and make it even lighter? I can scoop some of this up, move it over here, and add some more white to it. I mean, you can have 50 different values going from light to dark. I'm asking you to try to achieve just 6. So by doing that, I've made this my lightest one. And now over here in this little section, I can add a little bit more black to it. Again, barely get the palette knife wet with black paint, and it's gone to a much darker value so quickly. Cut that off. Add a lot more black to this little swatch. These look very similar right now. Yeah, they're pretty much the same, so I need to get more black. Let's get really aggressive. Add a lot more over here. And what if I just take some, I've already got a little bit of gray on my palette knife. Move that over here. So it becomes a super dark gray. And this has a tiny, tiny bit of white in it. Just keep mixing that up. An even darker gray. So this is what I mean by it's not black. There is the tiniest bit of white in there, making it a little bit lighter than black. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two kind of look similar. Maybe I can make this one a little bit darker so that there's a step in between here and here. Wipe off the brush. And just a tiny bit more. Now, acrylic paint, when it dries, it looks a little bit darker than it did when it was in your palette. So I'm going to go with this super light gray here. And after painting this, when it dries in like 5 minutes, because acrylic paint gets really dries really fast, especially in the winter. You'll see that it looks just a little bit darker than when we put it on the paper first. So by adding these to the paper just like this, right next to each other, we can see the steps and the changes in the value. I think this one and this one still look very similar. So I want to add a little bit more gray to the lighter one. A little more white to the lighter one. Lighten it up. That's better. This is the super black, but not quite black. and in between is this. And if we put it on the paper and it looks too similar, then I know I need to lighten this one up just a little bit more. Or I can darken up the gray. Yep, that's better. Much better. Okay, by painting it right on top of the wet paint, it's going to blend a little bit. If you want to try doing a blend where it goes from dark to light a little bit more slowly, try that like we did with our pencils. Keep on adding a little bit of darker paint over here, and while the paint is still wet, you can dry off your brush and really lightly hold the brush up here by the end and blend the wet paint while it's still wet on the paper. You can add a little bit more of the lighter. Again, really light with your touch, with your brush in your hand so that you're holding just the end of it like this. And practice just blending from light to dark.